Hampton is an independent city in Virginia. As of the 2010 census, the population was 137,436. As one of the 7 major cities that compose the Hampton Roads metropolitan area, it is on the southeastern end of the Virginia Peninsula. Hampton traces its history to the city's old Point Comfort, the home of Fort Monroe for almost 400 years, which was named by the 1607 voyages, led by Captain Christopher Newport, who first established Jamestown as an English colonial settlement. Since consolidation in 1952, Hampton has included the former Elizabeth City County and the incorporated town of Phoebus, consolidating by mutual agreement. After the end of the American Civil War, historic Hampton University was established opposite from the town on the Hampton River, providing an education for many newly freed former slaves and for area Native Americans. In the 20th century, the area became the location of Langley Air Force Base, NASA Langley Research Center, and the Virginia Air and Space Center. Hampton features many miles of waterfront and beaches. For residents and visitors alike, the city features a wide array of business and industrial enterprises, retail and residential areas, and historical sites. Most recently, the new Peninsula Town Center development opened in May 2010 on the site of the former Coliseum Mall, located in the area adjacent to the Hampton Coliseum and the Convention Center. The new urbanism-type project features a wide mix of retail stores, housing and other attractions. Development of new residential development and additional public facilities are underway at Buckrow Beach, long a noted resort area. Located on the Hampton Roads Beltway, it hosts the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel on Interstate 64. First opened in 1957, it was the world's first bridge tunnel, crossing the mouth of the Hampton Roads Harbor, which serves as the gateway to the Chesapeake Bay and the Atlantic Ocean from the eastern United States' largest ice-free harbor and its tributary rivers. Expanded in the 1970s, the HRBT remains Virginia's busiest and deepest such facility. History. In December 1606, 3 ships carrying men and boys left England on a mission sponsored by a proprietary company. Headed by Captain Christopher Newport, they sailed across the Atlantic Ocean to North America. After a long voyage, they first landed at the entrance to the Chesapeake Bay on the south shore at a place they named Cape Henry. During the first few days of exploration, they identified the site of Old Point Comfort as a strategic defensive location at the entrance to the body of water that became known as Hampton Roads. This is formed by the confluence of the Elizabeth, Nansemond, and James rivers. The latter is the longest river in Virginia. Weeks later, on May 14, 1607, they established the first permanent English settlement in the present-day United States. About 25 miles further inland from the bay became the site of fortifications during the following 200 years. Slightly south, near the entrance to Hampton River, the colonists seized the Native American community of Kecoughtan under Virginia's governor, Sir Thomas Gates. The colonists established their own small town, with a small Anglican church, on July 9, 1610. This came to be known as part of Hampton. Hampton was named for Henry Wriothesley, 3rd Earl of Southampton, an important leader of the Virginia Company of London, for whom the Hampton River, Hampton Roads and Southampton County were also named. The area became part of Elizabeth Chitty in 1619, Elizabeth River Shire in 1634, and was included in Elizabeth City County when it was formed in 1643. By 1680, the settlement was known as Hampton, and it was incorporated as a town in 1705 and became the seat of Elizabeth City County. In the latter part of August 1619, an English ship flying a Dutch ship, the White Lion, appeared offshore from Point Comfort. Its cargo included 20-plus Africans captured from the slave ship São João Bautista. These were the first Africans to come ashore on English-occupied land in what would become the United States. John Rolfe, the widower of Pocahontas, wrote in a letter that he was at Point Comfort and witnessed the arrival of the first Africans. Although these first Bantu men from Angola were considered indentured servants, their arrival marked the beginning of slavery in North America. Two of the first Africans to arrive at Old Point Comfort in 1619 were Antony and Isabella. Their child, the first of African descent born in North America, was born baptized January 1624. Shortly after the War of 1812, the U.S. Army built a more substantial stone facility at Old Point Comfort. It was called Fort Monroe in honor of President James Monroe. The new installation and adjacent Fort Calhoun were completed in 1834. Fort Monroe, Hampton and the surrounding area played several important roles during the American Civil War. Although most of Virginia became part of the Confederate States of America, Fort Monroe remained in Union hands. It became notable as a historic and symbolic site of early freedom for former slaves under the provisions of contraband policies and later the Emancipation Proclamation. After the war, former Confederate President Jefferson Davis was imprisoned in the area now known as the Casemate Museum on the base to the south of Fort Monroe. The town of Hampton had the misfortune to be burned during both the American Revolutionary War and the American Civil War. From the ruins of Hampton left by evacuating Confederates in 1861, contraband slaves built the Grand Contraband Camp, the first self-contained African-American community in the United States. A number of modern-day Hamptine streets retain their names from that community. The large number of contrabands who sought the refuge of Fort Monroe and the Grand Contraband Camp led to educational efforts which eventually included establishment of Hampton University, site of the famous Emancipation Oak. The original site of the Native Americans' Kecoughtan settlement was near the present site of the Hampton Roads Transit Facility, to the south of present-day Hampton. A small unrelated incorporated town also named Kecoughtan many years later and also located in Elizabeth City County was annexed by the city of Newport News in 1927. It is now part of that city's East End. Hampton was incorporated as a city in 1849. On March 30, 1908, Hampton was separated from Elizabeth City County and became an independent city. However, it remained the county seat and continued to share many services with the county. On July 1, 1952, following approval of voters of each locality by referendum, the city of Hampton, the incorporated town of Phoebus and Elizabeth City County merged into the independent city of Hampton. It was the first of a series of political consolidations in the Hampton Roads region during the third quarter of the 20th century. Modern military history. Hampton also has a rich and extensive 20th-century military history, home of Langley Air Force Base, the nation's first military installation dedicated solely to air power and the home of the U.S. Air Force's 633d Air Base Wing and 1st and 192nd Fighter Wings. Hampton has been a center of military aviation training, research and development for nearly 100 years. From early prop planes and Zeppelins to rocket parts and advanced fighters. Its proximity to Norfolk means that Hampton has also long been home to many Navy families. Together, many Air Force and Navy families in the Hampton area experienced significant losses both in war and also peacetime due to husbands and fathers in combat and also peacetime military accidents. Langley AFB during the Vietnam War. In particular, during the Vietnam War, Langley Air Force Base was a designated waiting base, and thousands of Air Force families were transferred to Hampton from all over the world in order to wait while their husbands and fathers served in Vietnam. Thousands of Navy families associated with naval bases in Norfolk next door also waited in Hampton during this era. Vietnam was a very high-casualty war for both Air Force and Navy pilots. and naval river rats, who fought on the rivers of the Mekong Delta, experienced high casualties as well. There consequently accumulated over time, in the Hampton area, a high concentration of families of unaccounted for wartime casualties. In many cases Hampton-stationed military families of missing in action, or prisoner-of-war pilots and sailors spent many years in the Hampton area, waiting to find out what had happened to their missing or captured airmen and sailors. And so the service and, in some cases, sacrifice of these pilots, airmen, sailors and their families, despite not having lifelong connections to the area, are also a poignant and inspiring part of Hampton's history. Geography. Hampton is located at 37 degrees 2 minutes 5 seconds north, 76 degrees 21 minutes 36 seconds west, 37.03472 degrees north, 76.36000 degrees west, 37.03472, minus 76.36000. According to the United States Census Bureau, the city has a total area of 136 square miles, of which 51 square miles is land and 85 square miles is water. Adjacent counties and cities: York County, Virginia; Poquoson, Virginia; Norfolk, Virginia; Newport News, Virginia; Portsmouth, Virginia; Northampton County, Virginia. Climate. Hampton's mild four-season climate means outdoor activities can be enjoyed year-round. The weather in Hampton is temperate and seasonal. Summers are hot and humid with cool evenings. The mean annual temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, with an average annual snowfall of 6 inches and an average annual rainfall of 47 inches. No measurable snow fell in 1999. The wettest seasons are the spring and summer, although rainfall is fairly constant all year round. The highest recorded temperature was 105.0 degrees Fahrenheit in 1980. The lowest recorded temperature was -7.0 degrees Fahrenheit on January 21, 1985. Hampton is also the warmest place in Virginia during the winter months. Additionally, the geographic location of the city, with respect to the principal storm tracks, is especially favorable, as it is south of the average path of storms originating in the higher latitudes, and north of the usual tracks of hurricanes and other major tropical storms, with the exception of Hurricane Isabel in 2003. Demographics. As of the census of 2010, there were 137,436 people, 53,887 households, and 35,888 families residing in the city. The population density was 2,828.0 people per square mile. There were 57,311 housing units at an average density of 1,106.8 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 49.6% Black or African American, 2.2% Asian, 0.4% Native American, 0.1% Pacific Islander, 42.7% white, 1.3% from other races, and 3.7% from two or more races. 4.5% of the population were Hispanic or Latino of any race. There were 53,887 households, out of which 32.5% had children under the age of 18 living with them, 46.2% were married couples living together, 16.4% had a female householder with no husband present, and 33.4% were non-families. 26.6% of all households were made up of individuals and 7.9% had someone living there alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.49 and the average family size was 3.02. The age distribution is 24.2% under the age of 18, 12.6% from 18 to 24, 32.5% from 25 to 44, 20.4% from 45 to 64, and 10.3% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 34 years. For every 100 females there were 98.3 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 96.6 males. Population update. Estimated population in July 2002, 145,921 males, 72,579 females, 73,858 source. The census estimate for 2005 shows that the city's population was down slightly to more, 145,579. The median income for a household in the city was $39,532, and the median income for a family was $46,110. Males had a median income of $31,666 versus $24,578 for females. The per capita income for the city was $19,774. About 8.8% of families and 11.3% of the population were below the poverty line, including 15.9% of those under age 18 and 8.6% of those age 65 or over. Media. Hampton's daily newspaper is the Newport News-based daily press. Other papers include Norfolk's The Virginian Pilot, Portfolio Weekly, The New Journal and Guide, and the Hampton Roads Business Journal. Hampton Roads Magazine serves as a bi-monthly regional magazine for Hampton and the Hampton Roads area. Hampton Roads Times serves as an online magazine for all the Hampton Roads cities and counties. Hampton is served by a variety of radio stations on the AM and FM dials, with towers located around the Hampton Roads area. Hampton is also served by several television stations. The Hampton Roads designated market area is the 42nd largest in the U.S., with 712,790 homes. The major network television affiliates are WTKR-TV3, WAVE-10, WVEC-TV13, WGNT-27, WTVZ-33, WVBT-43, and WPXV-49. The public broadcasting service station is WHRO-TV-15. Hampton residents also can receive independent stations, such as WSKY broadcasting on Channel 4 from the Outer Banks of North Carolina and WGBS-LD broadcasting on Channel 11. Hampton is served by Verizon, Fios and Cox Cable. Culture. Sports. Hampton is home to the Peninsula Pilots of the Coastal Plain League, a collegiate summer baseball league. The Pilots play at War Memorial Stadium in Hampton. The team began playing in Hampton in the 1980s. Colleges and universities. Hampton University, Thomas Nelson Community College, Bryant and Stratton College has a branch campus at the Peninsula Town Center. Public universities that are outside but near Hampton include Christopher Newport University, Old Dominion University, Norfolk State University, and the College of William and Mary. Major neighborhoods. Aberdeen Gardens, Buckrow Beach, Farmington, Fox Hill, Hampton Woods, Magnolia, Northampton, Newmarket, Phoebus, Victoria Boulevard Historic District, Wythe. Points of interest. Air Power Park, Bluebird Gap Farm, Buckrow Beach, Downtown Hampton Historic District, Emancipation Oak, Fort Monroe Chapel of the Centurion, Fort Wool, Hampton Coliseum, Hampton National Cemetery, Langley Air Force Base, Langley Speedway, NASA Langley Research Center, National Institute of Aerospace, Old Point Comfort, Peninsula Town Center, Strawberry Banks, St. John's Church, Veterans Affairs Medical Center, Virginia Air and Space Center, War Memorial Stadium. Transportation. Roads and highways in the Hampton Roads region. Water crossings are a major issue for land-based transportation. The city is fortunate to have a good network of local streets and bridges to cross the various rivers and creeks. Many smaller bridges, especially those along Mercury Boulevard, were named to honor the original NASA astronauts, who had trained extensively at NASA's Langley facilities. The city is located contiguously to the neighboring independent cities of both Newport News and Pocosin. Many roads and streets are available to travel between them. Likewise, Williamsburg, Yorktown and the counties of James City and York are also located nearby in the Peninsula subregion, and many roads lead to them. To reach most of its other neighbors in the Southampton Roads subregion, it is necessary to cross the harbor or the mouth of the James River. There are 3 major motor vehicle crossings. Among these are the Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel and the Monitor Merrimack Memorial Bridge Tunnel, each forming part of the Hampton Roads Beltway. The HRBT is located on Interstate 64 near downtown Hampton, and the MMMBT is a few miles away on Interstate 664 near downtown Newport News. The third crossing option is the James River Bridge, also in Newport News, which connects to Isle of Wight County and the town of Smithfield. Hampton is also served by several major primary and secondary highways. These notably include U.S. Routes 17, 60 and 258, and Virginia State Routes 134 and 143. Local and regional public transportation. The Hampton Transit Center, located 2 West Pembroke Boulevard, at the intersection of King Street, close to the downtown area, offers a hub for local and intercity public transportation. It hosts HRT buses, Greyhound, Trailways services and taxicabs. Hampton Roads Transit is the local provider of transit service within the city, as well offering a regional bus system with routes to and from 7 other cities in Hampton Roads. Intercity bus service. Intercity bus service is provided by Greyhound Lines and its Carolina Trailways affiliate. The buses serve the Hampton Transit Center. Low-cost curbside intercity bus service is also provided by Megabus, with service to Richmond, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, and Philadelphia. Amtrak Hampton is served by several Amtrak trains a day, with direct service from a station in nearby Newport News through Williamsburg and Richmond to points along the Northeast Corridor from Washington, D.C. through Baltimore, Philadelphia, and New York City all the way to Boston. At Richmond, connections can be made for other Amtrak destinations nationwide. Hampton is served by 2 commercial airports. Newport News. Williamsburg International Airport is located in Newport News, and Norfolk International Airport is located across the harbor in Norfolk. Both are located along portions of Interstate 64. The primary airport for the Virginia Peninsula is the Newport News, Williamsburg International Airport, located nearby in Newport News. Originally known as Patrick Henry Field, it was built on the site of Camp Patrick Henry, formerly a World War II facility. It is one of the fastest-growing airports in the country, and it reported having served 1,058,839 passengers in 2005. The airport recently added a 4th airline carrier, Frontier Airlines, becoming the first new airline to come to the region in over 8 years. Despite the economic recession conditions, 2010 will likely be the busiest year by passenger count in the airport's history. The larger Norfolk International Airport also serves the region. The Orff Airport is located near the Chesapeake Bay, along the city limits between Norfolk and Virginia Beach. 7 airlines provide non-stop services to 25 destinations. During a recent year, WRF had 3,703,664 passengers take off or land at its facility and 68,778,934 pounds of cargo were processed through its facilities. The Chesapeake Regional Airport provides general aviation services. It is located in Southampton Roads in the independent city of Chesapeake.